Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are watching episodes 3 and 4 of Vinland Saga. So in the last couple of episodes, we were really just getting introduced to all of the characters in the world and kind of setting up the main conflicts. Anime tends to kind of take a couple of episodes just to kind of get the whole story like laid out before it gets into like the real action and conflict of it, because you kind of need some time to just get acquainted with everything that's going on and have enough of a connection to the characters that when the conflict starts, it matters. So I'm definitely already worried about Thorfinn, and I feel like his dad, Thors, is just gonna die, and it's gonna break my heart because I feel like it's gonna be awful for Thorfinn. And we also have this war that is starting, this conflict between, I think, like the Nordic and, I'm gonna get this wrong, probably. My knowledge of Nordic history is limited. I think it's the English? I want to say it's the English. I'm probably wrong about that though. I know more about Celtic history and all of that, and usually when the Celtic stories, when there's a conflict, it's because the English showed up. So I might be wrong with that, and I apologize if I am. I'm sure you guys will give me some background if you know it in the comments, or I'll get some background as I watch the episodes. But we have that war starting and everyone kind of getting recruited, including Thors, to go back to his original squad thing that he was fighting in. He was in like an elite group of fighters, and him getting basically threatened into coming back. So he has to join that. I think Thorfinn is going to find a way to be part of this. He really wants to, but he's really young, so he isn't actually like allowed to be properly recruited. I think he'll find a way though, even if I really don't want him to. And of course, we ended off the last episode with two of the kind of commanders plotting a way of killing Thors. It seems that there's like maybe some animosity going on, but it definitely does look as if there's going to be an attempt at Thor's life outside of just the conflict itself, which also makes me nervous. It's amazing how how I'm like already worrying over these characters. It's been 2 episodes. I need to calm down. But that's basically where we're at right now. Things haven't gotten like super complicated and nuanced yet. I'm sure that they will as I get farther into the series. Probably like in these couple of episodes, things are just gonna like get far more involved. Let's just get into episode 3. In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I'm nervous. I mean, technically, but doesn't like whoever's in charge of you want him to be part of the fight? Well, it's just unnecessary. Why are we just throwing things around? It's true, why doesn't he kill Thor's himself? So I'm assuming that he's like a sword for hire? Oh dear. Did it? Was that the guy that looked over there right before now? I almost feel like it was intentional. Because, like, if all the people that work under him are, like, also greedy, like, look for hire, then you can't really rely on loyalty. That is unhelpful to his question that he asked, but okay. Was he helping with the negotiation? Did he have like a man on the inside? Interesting. Ooh, lots of layers to the like different relationships between the different forces at work here. Oh, so he's the guy in the boat in the opener. Why is Thorfinn on the boat though? Like, does he end up working with him? For him? When he grows up a little bit? Or is it just like thematic for the opening? I never know with anime openings if what I'm seeing is like actually gonna be in the show or if it's just to like look interesting in the opener. Oh, his plans ruined by his mother showing up. Are they all showing up? Oh, I have a bad feeling that none of them are coming back, or if they do, it is not gonna be the same for them. Oh. Oh. Oh dear. I don't know if that'll go over well, especially with Adi. So that's why there was so few that he's taking with him. It was like how many people, there's a limit to how many people could be brought back to the village. Also worrisome. I wonder if Thor's like actually knows that there's that he's not gonna come back. It's a one man motor. He's definitely on one of the ships. He's stowed away in like one of those cases or something. And they said he's not a warrior anymore. Ugh. I remember getting like blisters on my hands from rowing. Obviously not this bad. There's Thorfinn. Ah, he's one of the barrels. You've been waiting for too long? Oh, he's so cute right now, and I'm like, it's just gonna end tragically for you. Yeah, definitely like with the execution orders because he was ordered to bring him back into the fight. At least that's what he said to Thors. I don't know. Thor's just being forced to be like a dad. Well, he's also like a warrior now. Well, I don't like that grin either. Don't yawn, you'll make me yawn. He's been doing it a long time. It's not the same as in love, though. That's not how you hold a child. That's what I was just saying. Don't hold her like that. She seems very detached at this point, but she seems more than determined enough to go up against him. It's a lot of seagulls. Ooh, a map. Ugh, I love that. I love a good map. I love all the normal ores and then Thors. I find the shadow a little ominous. And his pausing. Uh-oh. Are they gonna like, block their way? I thought they were trying not to damage the ships. So it begins already. I thought maybe we would get some time before we had to deal with the whole trying to kill Thors thing. Unlikely. Oh, it's gonna be like their first taste of battle. Yeah, they're professionals. She's gonna give it to Thorfinn, even though he doesn't want to. Ooh, did he just decide to enter? Oh, I don't like the shadows over his eyes. That means that he's kind of gone into a different mode, doesn't it? No longer the just the caring father, but the warrior now, right? Ugh, I have a bad feeling about all of this. I definitely thought that it was going to be a little while before we actually got into this whole like plot to kill Thors. I think Asklad? I see two D's and I want to say, I want to pronounce it the Welsh way, which is like not correct. I don't know Nordic pronunciation very well, so I apologize. But seeing that confrontation, I thought that there was going to be at least like an episode where it was just kind of them journeying and like dealing with some of the setup again of some of the conflicts. I thought maybe when they interacted with some of these like villages and stuff on their travels, they would see some of the ramifications of this war or hear some of the damage being done by it. But the fact that we are getting immediately into this, it definitely makes me think that Thors isn't gonna make it very long. I mean, it looks like he's doing okay right now, fighting some of these like unnamed generic characters and fighting his way through that, but I definitely don't think that he will survive for much longer. And it makes me sad because I'm like, Thorfinn's gonna be so upset. Ugh. I knew that Thorfinn was gonna stow away on one of those ships. I was like, he's in there somewhere. He's somewhere in the cargo because there's no way he's going to let his father leave and go on this adventure and not go with him, let alone with the whole not being like when Thors was looking around and he couldn't find Thorfinn. I was like, that's because he's packed up with the rest of the cargo. Like, he's definitely coming. I feel very like torn by the idea of Thors having to give the knife to Thorfinn because we had this wonderful moment in the second episode where Thors was like explaining a bit like why it's never okay to hurt people, and the way that he like grabbed onto this blade with his bare hands, like he was literally willing to bleed in order to protect his son, and the fact that he has to accept the fact that maybe he can't, like in this circumstance, in this like adventure that they're on, he is less certain about that protection, and so he decides to give Thorfinn this knife because he's like, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I won't be able to be there the whole time. I won't be able to protect him. He has to be able to protect himself. And you can see the like almost physical pain on his face when he resigns himself to that being a possibility. And it's just heartbreaking to me because you get to see like a little bit more of that kind of compassionate father character that he's become like after leaving from being a warrior and seeing his family grow up and taking care of this village and all that stuff. He's a far more compassionate person than we saw in that little flashback, the birth of Iles. I'm not going to pronounce none of these names correctly, but his daughter and him seeming very detached, and he was very like uninterested in kind of his family life. And he said, well, that was the beginning though. That was the point where I suddenly felt like I had something else to live for besides fighting. And so the fact that he is transitioning now like back into that more like warrior stance of things just breaks my heart like seeing it, especially since you can tell that he is so reluctant to get involved in this. Like you can tell that he does not want to be part of this conflict. You can see him sighing and very much giving into the fact that this is an inevitable conflict that he has to get involved with, especially with his son there and all of these other young men from the village with him that he feels responsible for. I love the little part where they were talking about how Thor's plans to send all of these younger men back after they reached Norway. I love that he decided to only have like a small number of them because he's like, I can only send so many back. That's kind of like where his tactical thinking is. Even if I'm worried about him having to go into war or into battle by himself, especially with so many people plotting against him, definitely worries me. But we're gonna see some of his fighting skills, perhaps. I hope not a tragic death because I'm not ready for the heartbreak. I do have tissues with me though, so for those of you who are new to the channel, I cry. I cry fairly easily. So let's just get into episode 4. In 3, 2, 1, go. I'm getting emotional support now. Fighting his way to the real adversary. None of these unnamed extra characters. He seems to be enjoying this too much. Oof. Hasn't even drawn his weapon yet. It's just hand-to-hand combat, fight his way through. Oh, he helped him. Didn't want anybody to drown. Does this have something to do with the mushroom? Because that's worrisome. Some weird steroid-like thing makes him rage out. Fighting his own men doesn't seem like a very good way of preparing yourself for a fight. Ah, berserker. Gotcha. So strong and immune to pain, but not particularly intelligent. I'm assuming is the power set. Not because of berserker, but because of the way he's behaving. It looks like Thors has seen this before, though, so it's probably something that he's seen as a warrior at some point. Or fought against before. But again, his bare hands, yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, Thors is going to ruin their day, isn't he? Yep. It's one way to do it. The music? I'm getting like Captain America vibe. He had to draw his weapon that time, though. Getting serious. I think he's encouraging him. So it seems like a different fight is gonna happen. I think that the guy like in charge of this pirates, I guess is what they would be, um, are is going to want to fight Thor's. Because they think it'll be fun. I just have a really bad feeling about Thor's. uh, and just in the opener, you see Thorfinn change so much that I feel like the only thing that would really make him that angry would be someone killing his father. that he obviously idolizes. That does seem to be a crazy thing to do. It's true, he's the only one that actually has like combat training and experience. Maybe Thors will challenge him to a one-on-one fight. Leader to leader. Time to see what they're both capable of. I'm missing a little bit of Thors, but I'm assuming this will be a more formidable opponent. Mm-hmm. See? I was wondering if he knew something about it. Thorfinn, don't pick fights you can't win. That means he's not gonna hold back. I feel like he might have some resistance to actually hurting him if he knew that he had a wife and kids to go back to. Ooh. Good move, though. Oof. Wow, agile. Would have expected that with the armor piratiness. I guess he knows how to, like, be on a ship, though, if that's, like, his living. You guys better have like a medical kit or something because I don't want that to get infected. Oof. Interesting contrast though between like two experienced fighters, one who relishes in fighting and one that doesn't anymore. One who's found something more important to him than getting stronger and fighting. Well, don't wreck your ship though. You need that. He's fast though. Thors keeping up. Not really giving him time to breathe. Oof. Uh-oh. Oof. It's gonna take a heck of a long time to dig their way out of that so they can leave. He's testing him. He's exploiting a weak point. I like that sentiment. Like the multiple meanings behind it. He definitely was. He's trying to play it off now that he's been refused. Oh, see, that's just cheap move. It's true. He's probably doing whatever he can because he's gonna get paid, right? Oh. I was not expecting it to be the archers. Ooh, he got one in the neck. No, dumb idea. Oof. I knew it was coming and I'm still not ready. Did he say warrior? I felt like he said master didn't need a sword, which is a very different connotation than a warrior. I sense a revenge plot coming in. Did Thorfinn stow away on the ship again instead of going with the others? Ugh. See, that's the face that was in the opener that I was worried about. You probably see the potential of him becoming an amazing warrior, though. Yeah. I mean, I guess everyone else on the ship has no need to, like, go enjoy the ward now because they don't have Thors. Who needs to go? So we took a little bit of a break because I needed to not be so emotionally distraught. Yeah, wasn't expecting this show to make me cry this soon, but here we are. I was already in an emotional place today, and then that just, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, and I still wasn't ready. But I think what I want to pull out of that specifically is the part where Thors was talking about how a master doesn't need a sword. I think that's what he said. Now, if I'm wrong, then maybe my interpretation that I'm about to talk about is wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he was talking about a master not needing a weapon. There are a couple of different ways that can be applied to. So one of them is just like, if you're a really, really good fighter, you shouldn't need to rely on a weapon. Like, your own body, your own strength should be enough if you are truly a master at fighting. But I think the ambiguity of the word master is kind of where I find the most intriguing thing. So if I'm wrong about this, it's gonna be embarrassing, but I hope I'm right because it's an interesting take on exactly who Thors is. If it's just a master in general, let's say he's saying doesn't need a weapon of any kind, it means that you don't need to use force to become a master. And that kind of applies to a few different things. It applies to being a master of lots of different areas in life besides fighting. It means becoming a leader of a group of people, like not needing to intimidate your way into a place of power and leadership, which is a lot to say to someone who's in charge of a band of pirates who just sort of kill and battle for money. And I think it also goes into some of the ideas that were talked about in the last couple of episodes when slavery was this thing that was being talked about. Being a master of a slave is obviously a bad thing, but it's also people who choose to see others as less than themselves, and they kind of use their own power as a weapon. And the fact that Thors is kind of talking down to all of those. He's like, you're not truly a master if you need to intimidate someone. Like, if you need a weapon to make yourself be a master, then you're not really a master. You're just playing the part. You're not actually fitting into it. And I think that goes into like how Thors, runs the town that he was in charge of, is a leader of the people who choose to serve under him or choose to work with him. We even saw him learning to be a blacksmith. He was still learning and trying to figure out new things, going to people who are more knowledgeable than him in a very like humility, which is very much a place that most people who rule by force would not find themselves. They would not want to show any kind of weakness because their power is their weapon. So I just think that's an interesting idea that Thors is introducing really early on in the series, and one that I think Thorfinn is going to promptly forget, given the very angry and intense look on his face and the fact that he is vowing to kill off all of these pirates. It's just... it breaks my heart. I don't want to see Thorfinn go down this route because I'm like, revenge is a great way to destroy yourself. It's not a great way to get back at somebody who you believe has done something wrong. And I don't feel good about it, especially since he's like gone AWOL. What about his mom? What about his sister? What about all of these other people that I'm assuming everyone else that was with Thors is heading back to the village, because Thors said like, you have to take my head to like the one guy. So maybe they're traveling to do that, but he's like, you have to prove that I tried to come so that he doesn't attack the village. But like, I'm thinking of the mourning of all of those people, and especially for like Thor's wife and daughter, where like suddenly also Thorfinn is gone. Like, he he's not coming back. He's going off and doing his own thing, and he's very young and he doesn't have any training, and like I'm sure that everyone on that boat is freaking out because Thorfinn's just gone, and I don't feel good about what's gonna happen to him, because if I had to guess, and I'm guessing from some of the clips that are in the opener and the way that, I'm not gonna say it right, Askeladd, I think is his name, the guy who's in charge of these like pirates, I think he is going to train Thorfinn. I think he's going to keep him and train him, make him into a fighter, because he sees the potential in him, because Thors was such a good fighter that he's going to want to bring out any of that inherent skill in Thorfinn as well, even if it means that like Thorfinn is gonna like turn around and try to kill him. I think he would be okay with that, in that he's like fascinated by people who are just like fantastic warriors, and I think he would want to fight someone who had the same caliber of fighting skills as Thors, even if he had to wait a lifetime to get there, you know? So I don't feel good about that either, because I don't want him to be corrupted, but I feel like we might have lost that sweet innocent boy from the beginning already. I was not expecting to cry this early on. You can click this playlist to go and watch the previous episodes I have watched, or you can subscribe. I post new Vinland Saga videos every Thursday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!